Teaching is hard. As TikTok continues to poison young minds with propaganda, poor political messaging, and mind-numbing entertainment, students are becoming more challenging to teach. Now, this amount of effort needed to compete against the sort of stimulation a smartphone provides is becoming increasingly challenging. It's your exciting lesson that you put a lot of work into versus another one of the social media attention's grabbing challenges. It's becoming a whole losing situation. But that's not all. Rise in excessive violence, immature parents raising kids, and overall disrespect of the teaching title are causing a mass exodus and will only get worse. If you're an exhausted teacher and you need a plan B, definitely not looking into the retail space like I worked for many years, then this video is right for you. Here I have 8 digital careers I'm going to present to you where the barrier of entry is low, but will still require a lot of work to gain a stress-free way to earn a living. Before we begin, I want to make it clear that I will not be disclosing potential salaries or monetary earnings because the fact of the matter is that these are in the realm of feast or famine trades. I say this because they are all based on your ability to learn, produce, and perform. The following titles are not traditional jobs that you just run a resume through monster.com hoping someone will recognize your professional brilliance over an entire paper pile. I mean, while this could happen in time, the reality is that when you're starting, you're having a lot of grinding to do to establish systems and build up the reputation across networks, demonstrating what you're capable of. Now, as a teacher who does a lot of this YouTube and other things in my spare time, I'm just now getting recognition since I started in 2016. Now, if you're good on these notions, it's time to dive right in. Let's go. Shameless plug. As a teacher, you're still not using Animaker? With this animation tool, I've made kids laugh, cry, and feel annoyed, sometimes separately, sometimes all at once. I've made Meet the Teacher videos and even tried my hand at my own animated series, living out my fantasies as a Saturday morning cartoonist. You can also create short animated versions of your favorite stories or use a character from their presets to teach a math lesson. Whatever you desire, you can do it with Animaker. You can use the free version, giving it a spin for yourself, and if you like it and you want to go all the way, use my affiliate link in the pinned comment below. Now back to our regularly scheduled YouTube video. The first one on this list is content creator. I'll get this out the way because content creator is a broad and generic title. The remainder of this list is specific to what being a content creator just generally entails. Yet referring to the identifier of content creator seems to enlist unwavering hope and excitement in people, so it's on this list. Content creation is the lowest barrier of entry, believe it or not, because in essence, you only need a smartphone and personality to get started. Being a teacher, you can determine what your messaging needs to be, work on your camera presence, and start posting on Instagram at the bare minimum. When I talk about messaging, for example, do you want quick views from complaining about the ills of education like some of the videos I got on this channel, or will you just go against the grain, revealing the beauty in our dire profession that we're all in? With time, consistency, and awareness to improve, you can get so good that you draw an audience, get your numbers up, and gain the attention of companies for sponsorships rewarding you for capturing the attention of others. This approach to content creation is the most general form that if you've done nothing but these things, you'll experience success. Master the smartphone and you can master the core of content creation. Yet, you can take this a step further by turning your content generating abilities into a legit business if you follow the next methods. Next is taking your content talents to companies by producing UGC, aka user-generated content for them. From my understanding, UGC is you doing what you do best as a content creator, producing unpolished, amateur-risk videos that grab the audience attention. This is done by relating to the viewer on the ground level where the viewer feels, hey, this person is just like me, which hence the unpolishedness of all the content that's being out there. According to the Hootsuite blog, UGC is defined as original, brand-specific content created by customers and published on social media for other channels. Now, I think the Hootsuite blog articulates what creators do accurately. UGC creators are not creating traditional organic UGC, they're paid by brands to create the content that emulates traditional UGC. So, UGC is content created by the customers of a particular brand to raise awareness and attention to specific products or services. Man, recently I've been getting a gang of these Rise mushroom coffee video ads on my Facebook wall because I've been searching for coffee alternative. And every video I've been shown has been this TikTok quality, user-generated content promoting their brand. While some are cringe and some are pretty convincing, Nevertheless, these creators are making big bucks being leveraged for their amateur creator talents. This outreach works well with larger companies also. If you're a huge Apple nerd and love providing commentary or reviews on their products, Apple could reach out to you and provide compensation for your content because you are a loyal customer. Who knows? YouTube UGC content differs from the TikTok quality because YouTube creators have upped the ante so much that it's getting hard to distinguish a traditional YouTube video from a stellar, well-polished, produced short film or traditional documentary, rivaling what we see on companies' streaming services. Now, UGC will fall more in the lines of the short-form content that's on YouTube, TikTok, or Twitter that makes for quick-hit, dopamine-inducing, and relatable content. User-generated content can appear in different forms outside of video, such as just texted images, but due to short-form video trendy dominance, is quite possibly is going to be the most preferred. As a teacher, even if you're still in the classroom but planning an escape route, you start producing user-generated content for a brand product that you use religiously or just have a high favor for it. For us, maybe there's some ed tech software that you are a huge fan of, such as Nearpod, and you want to be a UGC brand ambassador for them because you religiously have used this product like I have and believe it will be a huge benefit to teachers everywhere. Reach out to these companies via email and social media to see what you can offer them, or just start producing content on their behalf and get some stats under your belt, proving that you can be an asset to their company. This brings us to our next exit strategy, which is breaking into EdTech. Educators have worked with numerous platforms. Nearpod is one, but you have things such as Edpuzzle, iExcel, Khan Academy, Scratch, and so many more entities that you can tap into. Having the teaching and user experience from any EdTech platform makes you a viable candidate to add tons of value to their teams. Deborah Quazzo, managing partner of GSV Ventures, said, if you're building EdTech products, you need to be talking to the people who actually use it. If you don't have practitioners in the room, you're really missing the point. Teachers are the penultimate user base, as they are in the classroom every single day, testing what resonates with students and what doesn't based on behavior, student stimulation, and other strategies. Workforce.com even validates the notion that teachers are among the latest experts EdTech companies are recruiting. As a YouTuber myself, I had companies reach out to me for product reviews in exchange for free services, affiliate offers, and more. If I continue to support these EdTech businesses by producing content that gets the results in the form of more traffic or even converted sales, then this will lead only to opportunities in the future, whether being employed by these companies or directly partnering up with them as a content creation entity. Reflect on your own skills as a teacher, map them out, and apply accordingly to what these companies may be looking for. So for example, let's say Edpuzzle is looking for a marketing specialist. As a teacher, your first thought shouldn't be, but I don't have a marketing degree, but rather, what have I gained from teaching to apply what the requirements are for this position? In the comment section below, I'll link to the video where I show you specifically which skills are easily transferable to the other career fields. It also doesn't hurt to adopt skills outside your comfort zone, such as learning simple website markup and design with HTML and CSS, especially if you want to break into the tech industry. Get additional certifications as well to raise your value even more, and not just for lateral movement in education. The next career path I want to discuss is becoming a writer. Being a writer is such a powerful pathway because it bleeds into almost every career field you can imagine. Yet the perception of becoming a writer is still looked at with a sackcloth perspective, as the world associates a writing career with starving artistry and poverty. And that's probably because you're still thinking about it from the mindset of the great American novelist's aspirations. If that's the case, then you need to find a time machine to return you back to the 1800s and be on your way with Ernest Hemingway. There are two resources to help change your mind about writing today in 2023. Nicholas Cole's digital writing book and my articles, which provides a different perspective on writing in general. The links for those will be in the description and pinned comment below as well. The way you have to view being a writer in 2023 is through the lens of a content creator. Majority of the content you see on this platform is birthed through the written word first and produced visually second. On this channel, I have several videos that I literally script and perform verbatim via a teleprompter app, which has changed the game for where my writing can go. Again, get out the whole I'm gonna write a book mentality and be creative. Yes, you can still write books, but is that the best medium for your message to reach others? In 2023, you can write YouTube videos, audio narrations, online articles, social media posts, and so much more rather than just having book author pursuits. For me, Writing is the first step, but it's not the only way for my ideas to get out. I don't look at myself as a writer, but more as a messenger. A great question I ask myself is, for this message, is it better as a YouTube video or stand as a written article? Writing is a super skill, and honestly, video writing just puts your ability on steroids. And guess what? You don't have to write things for yourself, but utilize that talent to help others build their business or platform. I recently assisted another YouTuber with building his brand by helping him create a course and co-authoring a book with him. Those two things have earned him nearly $2,000 in digital product sales. My writing talents plus his expertise led to a partnership where we both benefit financially and in other ways. If you want to know more about how to use YouTube to bolster your writing and vice versa, take my free 5-day course for becoming a YouTube writer. Book will be coming soon. Link in the description and the pinned comment below. Speaking of YouTuber, next is having a career as a videographer. You know, it's one thing to be a self-proclaimed YouTuber, but being a videographer is all about skill, finesse, and technique. Sure, anybody can take their iPhone, point, shoot, and publish anything on a video channel. But is the video good? Is it well produced? Is it well edited? Is it structured to tell the best story possible to the viewers, keeping them engaged to eventually evangelize your platform? That's what being a good videographer has mastered over any amateur video creator. As teachers, we don't think about video creation and filming process in a way that will be beneficial to our classrooms unless it's for some event or some school project. In my earlier days of teaching English, I created an activity that allowed the students to bring their stories to life using the school iPad to film footage for a movie they were creating. For that time, they studied filmography, camera positioning, and more in order to tell the best narrative possible. If you're a person who loves visual storytelling the same way my former students expressed excitement for this activity, then you may want to research these same aspects as I did for my students. To get started, an iPhone is a great starter device, but don't use it like a normie, aka a regular citizen, with an untrained eye. When opportunity arises, upgrade to better equipment like a DSLR or Sony something. I don't know, I'm not a camera expert here. But the devices and equipment don't make you a videographer, but your own technique, ideas, and skill sets are. Develop them accordingly. Next, we will dive into having a career as a consultant. Man, I cannot tell you how many times I've been in professional developments where the presenter was just a former teacher with at least 10 years of experience. Nothing more, nothing less. But this person had an idea, productized it, and sold it to school districts for crazy amounts of money, and then on top of that was asked to speak for a high price. If you're a teacher with a high amount of experience, then you can go indie with your knowledge and teach lesser experienced or troubled educators on how to have better classroom management or a grading system. This could be done through Zoom or even a phone call, but optimally Zoom for the visual communication. For consultations, you can charge per hour and have people pay up front before the consultation even happens. You can set up a free system by using the free version of Calendly and Gumroad. I made a video on how to do this without having to fork money over to any other memberships. Most educational consultants are hired by the district themselves, paying an exuberant amount of money for that person's time and expertise. Usually these high-end consultants have a business of their own or are a part of a larger conglomerate. If you're a teacher who has experienced the highs and lows in education and feel you have something to offer, give consulting a try, whether it be employed by an agency or being a free agent yourself. If you want an elite few to master the art of the classroom management and getting kids to love you, you definitely should take a look at consulting. Next item on this list is a culmination of all the other paths mentioned, and that is becoming a social media marketer and manager. From the Honest Teacher Vibes YouTube channel, this teacher refers to a time leaving the classroom due to stress and a lack of support, becoming a full-time social media marketer during her absence. Now, she didn't go in depth in terms of how being a social media marketer was, but I mentioned it because of the fact that she did indeed do it full time, and it can be done. If you're looking to be a social media marketer and manager, I assume you will have a lot of flexibility in this position. However, I don't need to tell you that to do this well, you have to be on social media. Now, while I don't consider YouTube social media per se, as I see it as more of a search engine and discovery channel for visual content, the fact of the matter is that YouTube has this heavy social elements to it, making it qualify as somewhat of a hybrid. We can take myself, for example. I can do social media in the realm of YouTubing. Over the years, I've gotten great at scripting, understanding filming basics, and gotten okay at titles and thumbnails, and several other skills that makes me proficient to helping others. But let's take a look at a more corporate definition of social media marketer. According to Coursera.org, social media marketers are marketing specialists who use social media platforms to promote a company's offerings. They often use platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to reach new customers, engage with current ones, and announce new products or services. Social media marketers can work in-house in a dedicated role within a company, but many work as freelancers and are hired to do work for an hourly rate. A blessing for anyone looking to break into this is that you don't need a college degree to be qualified. Heck man, mostly all of these pathways in this video are fairly new, only entering our lexicon in the past 10 or 20 years. And with the rise of AI, most of these jobs are leaving just as fast as they are coming in. This really shouldn't concern you, as being a social media marketer and manager is ultimately all about convenience. Nobody at a company really wants to sit on Twitter studying their algos and tweeting looking like a twit-twat. Businesses want to make money doing what they do best at their company. So if you can come in and bring forth that convenience and raise revenue through the use of social media, then you are doing something that's going to be golden for that company. As teachers, I would suggest picking one platform and studying it while you understand how the content operates on that platform. Do deep dives into the mechanics of the analytics, learn the type of content that is shared, and the actual voice and spirit of the platform. You'll want to know what kinds of posts do well on each platform, as well as the differences in audiences for each and how to capitalize on trends. For example, text posts do extremely well on LinkedIn, and Twitter threads are all the rage these days. For me, my weapon of choice has always been YouTube. I've studied YouTube since 2016, and while I'm not a master, I am pretty efficient at extracting external benefits such as affiliate links, gaining consultations, and more from it. If you can study just one single platform and begin to generate meaningful statistics on there while also building revenue, you'll prove yourself invaluable to a company that can use your newly acquired talents. Next is one I'm totally biased for, and that is entering the field of technology through the front door of web design and development. Web design and development, as I use them in concert, but they are two different things. Web design focuses more on the look and feel of a website, from the aesthetics to the psychology of how a user will interact with it. Web development focuses on the coding side, whether front end or back end, and how that website behaves and functions. I call coding breathing life into a dead, bland digital vessel. Things have progressed so much since the time I decided to jump in, as there are so many areas you could choose and specialize in. You don't have to be this know-it-all or go into what's called the full stack developer. You can solely focus on one coding language like JavaScript, becoming a specialist, and work it as a kind of a merc for hire for people who want to build online video games or mobile applications. As a designer, you can specialize in homepage development for websites, making graphics and organizing the infrastructure of what a website should be. You make all the choices. For me, earlier in my career, this was not spelled out as clearly. Back in 2011, I was blessed with the foresight to see that people would need to develop a technology skill because of how things were rapidly advancing. In 2008, I was messing around with some HTML code to fix an image header on a website that I purchased, and I believe it was blogger.com. You know, I thought it was the coolest thing that letters and characters can dictate how an image would appear on the internet. Let's just say that this simple markup language appealed to my writer's brain. That seed that was planted eventually sprouted to a higher interest, encouraging me to enroll in DeVry University to receive a 2-year training degree in web graphic design. By the time I finished that program, I was already teaching for a year. I decided to then do web design on the side. This led me to create websites from scratch, soon graduating to WordPress and learning other content management systems. And then all this web design side hustle led me to a position with the design company from 2019 to 2020, in addition to other projects I've taken on. Now, all of this is to say that you don't have to get a web design or development degree in order to enter this field. Yet getting started on your own can be challenging, as there are a plethora of information that's not properly curated for you to explore a proper path. Let's take a look at another teacher who left education after 9 years, deciding to do a coding bootcamp, saying goodbye to the education permanently.
Yeah, I was teaching, and my total teaching career was 8 years, but around year 6 is when I started getting that really burnt out feeling. I realized that I wasn't passionate about becoming a better teacher. I just really feel like if you're passionate about something, you want to keep growing in it. You never reach an end point. And so I was talking to some people about how I felt, and my dad actually was like, why don't you look into coding? Like there's a big need there, and you've always been into technology, and granted, I've always loved the newest gadget and new softwares and things like that, but I never I never had experience with coding. And so I was like, okay, I'll try that. That seems like something I could do. I started with free code camp. That was recommended to me before putting any money into anything. And so I got on there and I was hooked immediately. Just with HTML and CSS, I was like, whoa, I can design cool stuff, and and the problem solving of it, like you have an issue and then when you see it click and it's fixed, there's little that is more satisfying than that, you know?
Say what you will about DeVry, but they set things up for me where I had a legit direction to follow and break into technology that has allowed me to get freelance projects that has brought in a substantial income over the years, and start a YouTube channel to share my experience with others. I would suggest you do the same in terms of finding maybe a boot camp or a series of online courses where you can begin to work on real life projects where you simultaneously gain skills and receive an income without having to wait on some certificate. As you can see, leaving teaching doesn't have to be this manic depressive experience where you feel stuck and your options are limited. Some of us are so used to the old ways of work where our college degree has to speak for us. And that couldn't be further from the truth. In these 8 fields that I've shown you, they will require a 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. plus weekends pursuit if you plan on escaping the classroom rat race. Like the ant, you will have no boss or overseer, which I understand can be freeing and frightening at the same time. But you have to be responsible for your own financial career and destiny, because one of 2 things will happen. 1, you will end up losing a job with no backup plan, no one to help you out, leaving you to fend for yourself, or 2, someone will determine your working fate for you, and sometimes that could be worse than you being fired, having to fend for yourself. If these 8 suggestions have left you a bit overwhelmed for choice, then let me share with you a specific role you can enter into easily within 6 months of training experience, and that is becoming a website manager, where you learn how to manage and organize website content for companies right here in this video.